Time has come once again to speak as witches and wizards do. I'm Daniel Dubois,
And I'm Michaela Stone.
and we're your hosts for the Think Like a Wizard podcast. Welcome to season 6, episode 12. It's all about the change. And to start it off with, this is the last introduction like that you're going to hear. That's part of the
Yeah,
first change. No longer will you
it's
be
it's
hearing, yeah.
it's a
So,
big occasion.
yeah. So just like we did from transitioning to season 5 to season 6, this is going to be a bridging episode between not only to a new season, but to a new title for the podcast.
Ta-da.
Yeah. Journey to the Heart of the Primordial. I've been sitting with the doll in the morning. I was trying to think, is that the name? But once all the dominoes kind of fell in place, it's like, yeah, that is the name. So why the change? I'll let Michaela, because since Michaela explained it so well when we were talking about it before. And there's a reason why I'm asking you.
Okay. Well,
So go
first
ahead.
of all, the name was channeled via picture first, and then the words came after, and it was very definite. But as all big changes need, sitting with it and figuring out how you channel that, how that lands for you is a part of the process, and it's really important to be able to do that. So that's the first thing. And then what was your question? Why the change?
Yes.
Because we've completed the task of Think Like a Wizard. The thinking part is done, and now we're on the journey. Now we're in the action phase. And it's time to sort of stop procrastinating, playing around. Oh, should I do this? Should I do that? Putting off decisions, what have you. It's now time. I get an image of a hang glider, right? You are at the top of the mountain. You are looking out at the amazing view, and you've been strapped into the hang glider. You're ready. Okay, that was Think Like a Wizard. You've got everything you need. And now we're going to run and jump. Right now is the time to hit the air and get going and see what that journey's all about and where the currents and the flow take you.
Yes. You're now moving from the having, you know, got to know yourself, love yourself, stand up for yourself, and all those things. You are you. You now know who you are. You have an idea of who you are, in the very least, and it's ready for you to move forward into, I was going to say doing you, but that sounds wrong, into being
It,
you
it,
and taking your place.
it's literally time to stop thinking about it, time to start doing it.
Right.
I mean, if you've been following along, if you've been curious and sort of examining things as we've suggested each episode, then there really shouldn't be a whole heap left. And if there is, then take that time to do that. But for us, energetically, Think Like a Wizard is completed. There's the sort of energy flow to that has been redirected and amplified, and it's going into a deeper dive, quite literally. Journey to the Heart of the Primordial says everything you need to know. We're heading straight into the stuff where FAFO keeps coming up, but it's like that will depend on your attitude going in, right? But
Mm.
caveat emptor, be careful as you go in because that's what we did the whole foundational stuff for. But
Right.
6 seasons to be careful about what you're doing. Time to go do it now.
Yeah. It is a time, I'll put it this way. It is a time of shadows, but not in a bad way. Remember, the shadows are just what you denied, what has been put aside and ignored.
Shadows are the best place to learn from. They're like the shadow work, which is um, if we haven't defined it for you before, and I think we have, but let's do it again, whatever. Shadow work is where you've got something that you really don't want to look at, you really don't want to deal with, you'd rather pretend it wasn't there. All the things. It's the thing you reject, the thing you deny that's about you, of you, with you. It's that thing that we all like to think we're good people and we do good things and we come from a good place and we're right thinking and all that kind of thing. And obviously we're not. Because if we were, we wouldn't have, well, we wouldn't be human beings for a start off. So it's time to find those shadows and do that work and get the learning from it. And it's actually really exciting if you go in with um, the right attitude. And for me, the right attitude is one of curiosity and some excitement to see what's there. There's no point in fearing it. It's there anyway.
Right. So just to say it again, to be dramatic, it is now the time of shadows.
Yes.
And the reason I had Michaela explain it is because if you've been paying attention for this last year, from like seasons 4 through to 6, the Dark Mothers are here. As I said already this year, the Divine Feminine is rising. And it is time for those who wield the Divine Feminine to do shadow work so that they can step into the light. And so some of you might guess who's going to be heading up this. So for those of you with us at the beginning of the year, we did a lot of work with Lilith and Hecate,
Posse.
right? And Baba Yaga was here a number of times, not just
Carly.
with me, but also with Michaela
Yep. And Carly.
and
Right
Kali.
now,
Yes,
for me, I have the three um, Lilith, Hecate, and Carly are all kind of they're like sisters linking arms and each take different steps for different reasons. But they're very much forward right now. Very much.
right. And since they're working with Michaela, that's why she got to say the stuff.
Hmm. Yeah, it's very exciting. It really is. There's lots of downloads happening, and I love the insights and the ahas
Mm.
that are going along. I've had a week of that this week. It can be a little uncomfortable, I gotta say. Like I woke up at 4 o'clock this morning with a very clear direction for work with a client that I worked with directly before this podcast. And unfortunately, I couldn't get back to sleep afterwards. So
Mm.
I've been up since 4, which is not my ideal. I am not somebody who considers myself a morning person.
Right.
So, but so sometimes you get that clarity and that download, and it's like, no, you don't need to sleep after this.
Mm.
So, if that happens as we dive into this, if the people coming with us experience that, just roll with it. It is what it is. You'll catch up your sleep later. It's
Right.
just part of
Yeah.
the deal, apparently.
Yeah. So going forward, this podcast is going to start dealing with those ideas of going in and taking action. It'll be channeled as per usual.
Yep.
And
And I believe there's going to be some journeys that we
mm,
go on, which is where either Danielle or myself will do like a guided visualization. Um, they can be long, they can be short, but if you go with it, it'll be quite powerful.
right. I was going to say, so actually, what I'm going to say, not just was going to say, but so some among you, and and I was thinking about this today because we've had a few episodes where we're like, someone out there needs to hear this, but we've also experienced some of those people have not actually listened to the podcast, but have been listening in spiritually. So this podcast is still open to everyone, just as a reminder, even going forward. There are still lessons to be learned, things to be seen, and you never know what's going to work for you. But part of the target of this work is going to be what I've been calling the first wave of teachers for this time. So if you're feeling called to teach and go into the shadows and help people with their shadow work, you'll probably get the most out of this podcast going forward.
I'm of course going to recommend you do your own shadow work
Right.
first, because helping others when you have your own um, untouched can lead to difficult journeys. You know, it can take you in the wrong direction when you're trying to help the other person because you're looking through your shadow at theirs. But that doesn't mean you can't do it, and it doesn't mean you have to tick a certain box first. It just means do your work as well as doing your teaching. Don't just assume you're done. We're never done.
Right.
You're not on
That's
this
right.
planet to be done. It's not how it works. Nothing's so simple.
It's funny, the imagery I got last night, I was dreaming, and again, with the recurring theme through the whole night again, I got was so you've gotten really high level. It was a video game kind of a thing happening. And it's like, oh, you've hit the close to max level. I bet you think you're pretty awesome. Well, it only gets harder from here.
Uh-oh.
Or I should say, it
Yes.
gets more challenging from here.
Mm. Well, I think so, yes. I mean, the more awareness you have, the more you're aware that things are challenging, right? And the more you step out of your comfort zone,
Hmm.
step out of the space you're familiar with, that by definition becomes challenging because you don't know what's there. And caution is always a good idea.
Right.
You know, I think looking at protecting your energy is probably going to be where the next podcast begins. That's what I'm feeling right now. So let's write that down so I remember it.
Yes.
Uh, this literally does get channeled. Can't speak.
But
Yeah.
that was
So
kind
we'll
of
be
part of the
looking at
dream
that.
why I had a hard time. Like the dreams I've been having since we decided that we're moving forward, a lot of it has been a lot of, oh yeah, look, you're getting more powerful, but now we're poisoning the well for you. So that it's like, oh, you think it's going to be easy from here on? No, no. A lot of stuff is going to
Hmm.
happen.
Yeah, well, I think we can mitigate a chunk of that by being prepared and
Right.
having some protection. And the protection is for your energy, and it's to stop things coming in to your energy field that you don't invite, and also to separate your energy field from whatever you're working with when you're done. Because here's the thing, if you're doing the work that we've been building toward, and you've got your chosen deity or deities, and you are forming that relationship, that connection, you need to be able to also separate from that connection. Staying plugged in, as it were, is not a good path. It's your energy will be drained. It's not exactly vampiric, it's just not healthy. You
Right.
can't function properly in the physical plane if you're still attached to the spiritual. It's going to mess with you. So
Yes.
that's the protection is important.
Right. Well, and that's been actually for pretty much since we've discussed it is there's been a recurring theme overall of basically that thing of going forward, watch your energy. I didn't quite clue in on what it was. I just kept waking up going, the hell am I dreaming right now? You know, I'm like, everything seems good. And then there's what is this thing that shows up at the end that's so, you know, I'll use the word vexing, but it's more than vexing. It's almost like I almost wanted to say, why is there this good thing, but then there's this harmful thing at the end, but it's not intended as harmful, but just as a there's things you have to look out for
Mhm.
as you go down this road.
Yeah, because you're opening, you will be opening a channel to not just the thing you're focused on, but whatever's around it and whatever's between you and it. So, that there are other entities, other spiritual guides and what have you that you may not be ready for. You may not want them. You may not want them at all. And the thing is, you do have a choice, but you have to activate that choice. And that's by the protection, the prevention, if you will, and then offloading those energies when you've done your work. These things are very important to add in. So, um, I'm pretty sure that's going to feature quite a bit in the first episode or two. It's really coming up a lot for me lately. So I don't think it's just for me though.
No,
Things usually aren't. It's not usually just for me.
no. Well,
So yeah.
that's the joy of doing a podcast where you share information. Sometimes the stuff you go through is not just for you alone. It's to help. It's to give other people an example as well.
Mm, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the fun part, right? That's the interesting bit is you put it out there and see what comes back. It's like,
Yeah.
okay. Like the after the last episode, Danielle and I were talking, and all sorts of downloads started
Mm.
hitting, including the direction of the podcast and the name of it and everything. And it was just we had so much going on. And once again, as often happens, we were not recording. So
Right.
that seems to happen a fair bit. But the really juicy stuff we seem to forget to record. Sorry about that, people. But yeah, it's the timing is interesting, and I think we get the downloads as people need them because
Right.
we get them at different times, right? Whether we're recording or not. But the stuff that needs to be put out there lands at the appropriate time. I have to assume that anyway.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in this case, right? Like I needed time to sit with it, not because I was mourning the changing of a title or getting rid of a name, because that doesn't matter to me. Because I've been having a hard time with the name for a while now, anyways. Because I've been trying to grow it into other things, and it's like this isn't fitting for me. This seems so. I almost want to say childish at some points.
Foundational?
Yeah, something that you would do if you were young, but now that you're going out and
Hmm.
being serious in the world, you need a different, a different imagery, a different metaphor.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it podcast, the title, all the things that go with it, I think had a purpose, had a job, and I think we've done that. And so now we're ready to step into the bigger stuff. And some people will want to come with, and some people may say, okay, I'm out of here now. You're
Yeah.
making me nervous. Hopefully you're not nervous about this by now if you've been listening to us at all. We're not scary people and we're not, okay, I was going to say we're not doing scary stuff. Yeah, we are, if that's your
Mm.
perception, but we're not doing bad stuff. We're not creating bad things. We're not intending harm anywhere. We're trying to help
Right.
you not be harmed and navigate safely. It's a very different thing. But, the unknown is scary for human beings, right?
Mhm.
That's the whole thing. And that's why people try and control other people and even to the degree that they control your beliefs. If you think about that for a second, is that not bizarre? I want to control what you believe in.
Right.
Whoa, that is some serious micromanaging crap. Like, what? On the surface, just think about that. Don't think about religion for a second. But if somebody says, I want to control how you see the world and what you think about it and what you believe in, would you not have a sort of instinctive response of screw you and get out of my face?
Right.
Like that's a bizarre thing. So we're stepping away from any vestiges of that. You don't, we're not here to control what you believe, right? We put out our lens, I put out what I see, Danielle puts out what he
Mhm.
sees. and you make of it what you will or nothing at all and make your own path. Like that's 100% what we're here about. We're just giving you what we know and what we believe, and then you figure it out from there.
Right. I'm going to add to this that so, like I said, right? So this year, the divine feminine was raising an ascension a lot. So any wielder of the divine feminine have really probably really felt it. I know I did. And I'm not a primary wielder of the divine feminine, but I'm in it. I'm in that flow. But this does not mean that the divine feminine is alone. This is not a divine feminine versus divine masculine. The divine masculine needs healing.
Yes.
I'll go so far as to say that the divine masculine has been abused for a long time now and is in need of healing.
Interesting perspective.
It is.
I think there's
That's
been
one of
a
the challenges going
rift.
forward. What's that?
I think there's been a rift of mm, what I'm getting is literally a tear in the fabric
Right,
of everything. Um, there needs to be a balancing, a
right,
harmonizing, and yeah, one of the things is we're not here for good and bad, right?
right.
Like that thing over there is bad, that thing over there
Yeah,
is good. No, 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 no. Everything has everything. Everything has all the capabilities, which is why when you look at the Dark Mothers, they are all about destruction and will annihilate vast
hmm,
swathes of whatever if that is necessary in order to have the rebirth and to have the recreation, the new creation, literally it's creation. You can't have creation without destruction.
right,
Even if you go with the science and you look at Big Bang kind of stuff, you don't have creation without destruction.
right.
So they have all of that. So are they evil because they do destruction? Nah. Are they good because they do creation? No. They're just that's what they do. That's their thing. That's what we're here for. It cycles, and we all
Right.
have all those possibilities within us, right? So the whole, well, let's vilify the male gods and it's
Hmm.
all about the goddesses. No, if you work with who you're called to, right?
Right.
Um there's no point in having an opinion about that. Like it totally doesn't matter. It's just whatever calls to you is correct for you and do that thing. I worked for a chunk of time with Akalandeshvara, and the first step is to learn how to say
Yeah.
Akilandeshvara.
Yeah.
And Akilandeshvara is pictured as a woman in, sari and what have you. She's Hindu. And she's riding a crocodile. And the name Akalandeshvara means never not broken,
Right.
never not broken. And there's a whole story there for particularly for women, but again, as always, not only for women, but there's a whole lot there of overcoming brokenness, betrayal, and continuing with that rather than removing it from you, right? Like you can't cut that part off. You're never not broken. There's always
Right.
something, but it's moving ahead anyway. So that was an interesting space to work with for a while, and she's not so much forward now. So maybe she'll come back. I don't know. Different deities at different times, right? For different reasons.
Right.
But the Dark Mothers are. It is their moment. It is their moment. They're coming forward, and think of your own mom. This is for anybody listening.
Mm.
Think of your own mom. Was she always sweetness and light? Or did she sometimes get really pissed and smack you around the head with a slipper? You know?
Right.
Was she always really mad and angry, or was she sometimes nice? Ideally, not everybody has a good experience, but ideally, your mum is all of those things at different times.
Right.
And so now put that into the deity, and that's what you're looking at on a cosmic scale, right? So be aware that do something sketchy and you might just piss them off. And that might not be a good idea.
Well, yeah, because I was going to word it as the divine feminine is coming into ascent or is ascending, and the warriors are showing up first.
Yes. Oh, they're feisty.
Mm,
Yes. Yes. There's a lot of guru coming up. And it's not I don't even know how I'm gonna phrase this. I'm getting a picture of it, but it's along the lines of it's not malicious, it's
yeah,
necessary.
right. You got to clear the field before you can use the field for other things. Again,
Yeah.
destroy before you can create.
Yeah. And we tend to think of things like forest fires. Oh no, forest fires are terrible. Forest fires are bad. Well, they're a problem because we happen to live where they happen, right? That is definitely an issue. But forest fires happen naturally. Lightning strikes and what have you, but they occur in nature because that's how forests regenerate. And so we try and stop that, and then the cycle gets kind of skewed, and you end up with diseases in trees occur and all kinds of things that take it a little bit sideways, right? And you get forests that they have a lot of old growth but nothing new, or there's this you have one species but nothing else is coming in because of how it's been managed rather than allowed to do its thing. I'm not for a moment saying, oh, just let forest fires happen because we take up too much of the planet for that.
Mm,
You can't do that. But the point is, the destruction happens in nature because that's how creation occurs after.
yeah. And so yeah, and I don't remember if I said this, but so the mother goddesses are being prominent, especially the dark mothers right now, because the playing field has to be cleared to make space for new things. But the dark fathers, the father gods, are in support, but quiet. They know it's not their time, but to get the most potent magic, you need both the divine feminine and the divine masculine.
To be fair, I think they've had a chunk of time. But also, you've got to remember that there's the misuse by people
Right.
of the perceptions too. So
Mm,
perhaps that's where the abuse bit that you mentioned earlier on comes from. It's how they have been represented and used is not helpful, um, and that's problematic. And there will need to be healing from that for sure,
right.
definitely. In fact, I was talking with someone earlier today about the word modesty. I had given her a task to go
Right.
and look up the word modesty and the origins of it. Because it's like, oh, typically you think modesty. Oh, yes, that's keeping yourself covered
Mm,
up, right? Particularly for women, funnily enough,
right.
right? Modesty in Saudi Arabia, for example,
Mm-hmm.
looks one way. You go to Thailand, it looks another. You go to
Mm-hmm.
Tonga, it looks another. But it's all about how the women look. It's not generally speaking about the men. So, where did this concept of modesty come from? Well, originally it was basically self-control and it was for everybody.
Yeah.
Modesty means keeping yourself measured, right? Keeping yourself in a good space kind of thing. It's about self-control. And men weren't into wielding that, so they put it onto women and then made it about how they appear. Modesty means you can't put yourself forward. You can't let people know that you're smart, or you have to dress a certain way. Like the word modesty was taken from its original purpose and weaponized. And
Yes.
that's just one word. How many other words have been weaponized? A lot, a lot, a lot. So we have a lot of unraveling to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a blame game. That's not the point. I think we can look at history and it tells you what the trend is, right? Where that came from. And you could spend your time looking at that if you like, but there's not really much point. You're not going to get any progress from there. Really, it's about how do we unravel the bullshit? How do we unravel the nonsense without going into a space of shame and blame, right? There's no point to that.
Well, that's the
It's
thing,
it,
right?
Yeah, it's not like, well, okay,
Yeah.
women are on the rise and you men need
Mm-hmm.
to shut up now. No, 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 no. We need a harmony. We need a
Mm-hmm.
balance, and that's not the same thing.
That's right. And it's funny you mentioned words and their meanings. This is a recent
Bells, you
discovery
know?
of mine, but it falls into something I already knew. Certain words that we put as having a positive value, like the word noble,
Hmm.
all there's tons of words like that. One I recently learned was the word hero. To be a hero, it's a Greek word, and the origin of it is that you're either a demigod or of royal lineage. A peasant couldn't be a hero.
Mm,
No matter how good they did, or no matter how many amazing things they did, they couldn't have the title hero. Hero required either being a demigod or some kind of status in royalty. Something like the word noble, even the word vulgar. We use vulgar to describe all kinds of terrible things, but all it means is that you're a peasant and you're uneducated.
right. And the word, okay, going with
Yeah.
uneducated, the word ignorant, we use it interchangeably with asshole,
Mm-hmm.
right? Basically. It's the polite way of saying that, but that's not what it means. It just means you don't know something, which is, you take the power away when you look at it as, well, I don't know that thing. You can learn it, right? It's
Right.
like ignorance can be fixed, stupid can't.
Mm-hmm.
And that's again, that's the whole thing with words. And words are spells,
Right.
right? You use words in spells, spelling, it means words, right? The power of the word. Why why are we so different from the other animals?
Right.
Because we have the power of words. You know, this is something for the longest time, centuries and centuries, you couldn't utter another person's name without them giving you permission first. And if you did, you were likely to get smacked for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You were going to get into trouble for that. And even now, some people will take exception to, a person using their name. Um, and I think that person, the one that takes exception to it, actually has a point,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's they're invoking something when they use your name.
Yes.
And your name has energy. Now, I can say from personal experience, I toyed with the nickname Mickey for a while because since I moved to the US, people butcher my name on a regular basis, and it was really getting to me. So I thought, you know what? Why don't I just make it simple so they don't have to do that?
Right.
And I made it simple. That was not my energy at all. And funnily enough, people still managed to screw it up. And I could not believe that they could take something so simple and cock it up, but they did. So, the lesson there was don't make yourself smaller. It doesn't help.
Right.
Right? It doesn't. But the energy felt so different. Whenever somebody used that nickname for me, it just didn't connect. It was like, who are you talking about? So words are powerful, names are really powerful. And I do wish people would be a little more careful with how they name their kids because some of the things
Mm.
that are coming out at the moment are just wackadoodle, man. Wackadoodle. What energy are you putting into that?
Yeah. It is interesting
It's
about how
interesting.
powerful that is. A name.
Think of a trans person, right? When someone is trans, they get to think about their chosen name. And I know from people that I've talked to that they spend a lot of time sitting with that. What is my name? Like, because this person is acknowledging not the body that they were born in, but who they were born as,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the body that they're transitioning to in whatever way. Um, and that person will sit with their name for a long time. Typically, they don't pick it quickly.
Mm-hmm.
It's a process and it means something and it lands energetically and it'll feel different. Yes, that feels right. No, that doesn't feel good, etc., etc. That's not sort of accidental or weird in any way. It's actually, yes, that is how serious a name is. It captures something of your essence.
Right.
So, you know,
Well, I was thinking just as you were saying that, I was thinking like, could this be a whole episode just talking about names? But what I'm getting is no, you can talk about it right now since you're transitioning into something. So it's something people should have fundamentally going forward. And that's think about what a name is. So it identifies you. So the person saying your name automatically visualizes you. And you hearing your name, if you want to go this way, lowers your defenses,
Mm,
familiarity. So energetically, you're
right.
not protecting your energy as much because you don't think you need to when your name is being used.
It evokes certain feelings as well,
Right.
right? When you hear your name used, and sometimes that can feel accusatory. Sometimes
Mhm.
it can feel like a trap. Sometimes you feel like you are obliged for something.
Yes.
Um, you can get away with not being so entangled if your name isn't invoked. But when your name's used, I mean, what do your parents do when they're mad at you? You
That's right.
suddenly get your middle name thrown in as
Yeah.
well, right? You get the
Your
whole
full name.
caboodle.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a reason to that. They're really calling you to order.
Right.
They're calling you. They're initiating something.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? You you literally have a physiological response and that has consequences to you spiritually, magically,
Mhm.
right off the bat. So name has power regardless. Yeah, we give our names. We have to some degree nullified some of the effect, but not completely, especially not magically.
I think we've deadened the awareness of the effect,
Hmm. That could be a better way of putting it.
which is different to nullifying it. We
Yeah.
just don't feel it, which is not the same thing.
Right.
Um, which is why, some people will still say, "Hey, keep my name out of your mouth."
Right.
Um, and they have an awareness of it on some level more than a lot of us do. But literally, if you want to know how weird it feels, try walking around with a different name for a day
Hmm.
and have people use it. Just ask them to call you that name for that day or a week, however long you feel like being curious for. And see how your energy feels when they do that. And there really is a shift. It's very different. And yeah, you'll learn something when you do that. The
Yeah.
name has power, and if you think of the myth of Lilith that I mentioned episodes ago, there are several myths about any given deity, but a common one is that Lilith and Adam were created at the same time, and she was woken first before Adam, and she was given the secret name of God, Elohim. And she was given the secret name. Elohim is the female version of God,
Hmm.
if you will. And she was given that secret name to use when necessary. So it was a guarded secret. And when she evoked that name, it was to escape, not be booted out of, but to escape the Garden of Eden. And that was how she did it. It was a magical journey. And that was the power that she used, was the secret name. So again, and if you look at Judaism, the name of God is never used. It's,
Right.
it's not written because it's not to be used. It's a secret name. So, you literally have some of the older religions and the certainly the monotheistic ones. They're all about not using the name. Even those that use Yahweh,
Hmm.
they don't use the vowels when they write it, for example. There's always something to corrupt it. So it's not completely said. If
Right.
you look at anything that's written in Judaism, even when it's written in English, if you have the word God, you will have G dash D. They don't write the full word.
Right.
Names are important. So if you consider changing your name at any point, and some people who get into spiritual practice do,
Right.
sure, just choose wisely. Really choose it. Actually, not wisely, choose it energetically.
Yeah. Something that empowers you.
Absolutely. And something that resonates with you.
Mhm.
Don't choose it because it's flowery or it sounds,
Right.
esoteric or whatever. Like, that's not your best option. It can be that, but don't choose it because of that. I had no idea we were going to names today, but it does seem to be a thing.
Well, because part of right what we've been discussing is old stories have to go away for new
Mhm.
stories to
And old
start.
names, and
Right.
old names, right?
Right.
Like,
So
think like a wizard.
yeah. So names are very important to going forward because okay, that is for another episode. I kept getting
Well,
blocked.
one thing I will say
Yeah.
is for the listener, just sit for a moment with the title Think Like a Wizard
Mm,
and feel that, and then give it a seat and sit
right.
for a moment with the title Journey to the Heart of the Primordial. Does that not land differently? Does that not hit a different part of your body? It's just the weight of it is different, you
Right.
know. The color is different. Everything about that name shift is different. So, try sitting with each of those names
Mm,
just as a sort of example. See how different they feel, because boy, they do. They are not the same.
right. This is going to sound dramatic, but the lead up
Cool.
all this week has been had this tone. We're taking you on a journey that's going to go before words, before names, so that you can start at the beginning and make new names, new stories, new journeys.
Ooh, fun.
Yeah.
That sounds potent. I like it.
It's one of those where for a moment I sort of sat there and I'm going, can my ass cash the checks my mouth is writing? For our younger audience, checks are pieces of paper where you say you're going to pay people money.
Hey, I still use
Yeah,
them.
yeah. Oh, people still do. It's just it's not as common anymore. But yeah, it's the we're promising a lot. So this is going to be an interesting shift.
Yeah. For me, I'm not promising anything. I'm
Mm,
just saying what comes up.
right.
And you'll take it or not, dear listener, as you choose.
Yes, as
That
per
comes from
usual.
human design, though. I'm very particular about not promising
Right.
things because that's an energetic contract that I refuse to make. There's no point, it distracts you.
Yes.
It
Well,
does.
the whole thing
And
is yes. Protect. Right.
sometimes you want to do a thing and it's
Mm,
just not there. And
right.
an example is there's an online magazine that I write articles for, and I've
Right.
done so since their first edition. And I submitted an article, and the editor requested some revisions, and I did them, and I was really happy with it. And I got feedback saying, "Oh yeah, this is awesome." Da 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 da
Mm,
da. Very nice. And then I got further feedback saying, "Actually, can you make these other revisions as well?" And I was a little miffed because I'd already been
mhm,
told it was,
right.
good. And then I get these further revisions. But you know what? I can't make them. I cannot, because every time I try,
Mhm,
they don't work energetically with what I've done. I could put them
right.
somewhere else. I can add them to it. Like I can put the content that she's asking for in a different article.
Right.
100%. Totally do that. I cannot make it work with what I've done. The energy gets choppy. It doesn't flow. It doesn't work right. And that's, again,
Right.
it's words. It's an article. But it's just so intriguing. I can't promise that I'll make whatever edits she asks for because sometimes it's not possible. And I don't know until I try. And I said I would try these ones, but I'm going to have to tell her today I take it or leave
Mm,
it. That's what she got
yeah.
because I can't make those changes. They don't work. It's her lens and it's not
Right.
energetically correct for me. So that just kind of comes up as I guess, recognize when you're trying to force somebody else's agenda.
Right.
Whether it's words, names, direction, whatever it is, just recognize it. And even if they're doing it with the best of intentions, that's not the difference. The difference is it for you or not?
Yeah.
And you'll know because it'll be so hard to do if it's not for you.
Right.
Names will be so hard to work with if it's not the right one.
Yep.
Deities won't land right if you haven't got the right one. So don't try and make it fit. Just be open to discovery.
Yes. And you know what? That is the final word on this particular episode that I'm getting.
Yep.
And yes, to reinforce that last point, work with who works with you best. Now is not the time. I don't know if that's the wording properly, but work with who your flow works best with. Best with.
Or who calls to you, or however
Mm.
you perceive that. But you'll know what resonates and what
Right.
doesn't,
Yes.
and just go with that. Don't try and force it because it doesn't work that way.
Right.
Nothing honestly works that way. It's just that we don't have an awareness of it for so much of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
there endeth Think Like a Wizard.
Yes.
Ta-da!
And so, once again, I'm Daniel Dubois.
I'm Michaela Gaffinstone. I'll say my name right. That was funny.
Speaking of names,
That was funny.
see you all on the other side.
See you on the other side.